right, good morning. 25 after 6, day 121. Man, they're flying by. Getting ready to hit the trail again after a 0 day. We'll see how that feels. It is chilly. It got down to 38 last night. That's like Sierra cold. And this is not even middle of August yet. And we're not that high in elevation. I don't know, I'll have to check. I think we're like between 5,000, about 5,000 feet maybe a bit under that. But it's cold. Haven't been this cold in a long time. So I'm going to try and do about 23, 24. I got to see where the campsite is. And we'll make our way, headed to Big Lake Youth Camp is my next resupply. It's a Christian camp, youth camp, I think. We'll get a resupply there. It's about, I don't know, 90 or 100 miles away, something like that. So we'll get there. I am cold, but I'm a little bit encouraged. I woke up last night with a headache a couple times because of the smoke. So I actually slept half the night with a mask just because of the smoke. But look at this. I mean, that's pretty clear sky. There's fog coming off, or mist coming off the lake there. That's not smoke, that's mist. There's still some haze you can see in the distance, but this is the clearest sky that I've seen here in the last day and a half. So I'm encouraged. We'll make our way north, hopefully trying to outwalk the smoke. That could be tough, but we'll do what we can. I guess that's it. I'm gonna take off. I gotta get moving because I'm freezing. I'm shaking here. It's still like I don't know, 40 degrees, and I was got my sun hoodie on because you heat up as soon as you start walking. This is the store and the grill area here. They got a nice little patio and all kinds of games out there in front. But off to the side, you got a PCT hiker area, nicely set up. They got like 4 picnic tables, you know, a shade structure, the all important charging station, hiker boxes here, hiker boxes over there. So you got it set up well for us. Nice little spot right next to the store. Everything a hiker needs. All right, I'm hitting the trail. I'm freezing. We'll see you down the trail. Yeah, I cannot believe how cold it is. I've not been this cold since the Sierras. It's still like 40 degrees. I'm just hustling here, walking as fast as I can, trying to heat up. I mean, it's 6:30, so the sun's coming up, and I'm sure it'll warm up here quickly. We're not that high. It's like 4,800 feet, so we're still below 5,000 feet, and it is chilly. So I guess it's not like San Diego where August and September are real hot. Up north here, it's still a little bit cooler. So I'm glad people are sending their puffies home, their puffy jackets, getting warmer sleeping bags. I'm glad I didn't do that because I'd be cold last night. And it'd take a while to get it, you know, have them shipped back. So I'm glad I just carried it. All right. We'll be moving down the trail. Just a short walk up the road. We are back on the PCT. A long detour around the fires to Shelter Cove, and then I walk up the road. So I gotta see, there were a couple alternate routes in that. I gotta see what the ultimate mileage was. But I'm guessing it's probably close to 100 miles in this because of the fires. There was a, I think, Middle Fork fire right in, right on the edge of Crater Lake. And then I think it's the Diamond Complex fires. There's like a half dozen or 10 of them all strung together between Crater Lake and here. They were all burning. They just combined them all and called them the Diamond Complex. Saw a couple of them burning on the way to Shelter Cove. And that's what's creating all the smoke we've been breathing for the last few days. Or last week. I'm now back on the PCT, headed north, hopefully away from all the fires. And I think the rest of Oregon is good till we get right to the Washington border, a couple hundred miles north of here. There's one burning just before Cascade Locks, but there's an alternate route around it. It's about the same distance, and it still gets you into Cascade Locks. So I think we're good for the rest of Oregon. Washington's gonna be another story, because there's a bunch of fires in Washington. I think there's like 4 trail closures right now. But we got a couple weeks. Maybe they'll get a handle on it, because they've been having some thunderstorms up there and some rain. Weather's cooling down. Maybe that'll help the firefighters out. Okay, so Sandra sent me a little article she found on the internet about Pacific Crest Trail number 2000. I guess that's the national designation of the Pacific Crest Trail, where, you know, the Pacific Crest Trail, I guess, was completed or all stitched together from a bunch of smaller trails back in 1968. At that time, it was just a series of different trails. You have, Forest Trail number 138 plus National Park Trail number, 562 plus, on and on and on. So when they stitched all together, they figured it was time to give the Pacific Crest Trail an official number itself, even though it comprised of all these other stitched trails. The Appalachian Trail was number 1000, and the Pacific Crest Trail is number 2000. So it's Pacific Crest Trail number 2000 is the official designation of the trail. So thanks, Sandra, for looking that up and clearing that up for us. Now I can sleep easy. All right, see you down the trail. This is Lower Rosary Lake. We're gonna hike along the side of this to the other side, and then a little bit further down the trail is Middle Rosary Lake, and then Upper Rosary Lake. So we get to see 3 of these beautiful mountain lakes. I can smell smoke in the air. It's much better than yesterday, but I can still smell the smoke. So we're not out of the woods yet. Upper Rosary Lake from the tent site. Very nice views. I'm sorry, Lower Rosary Lake from the tent site. But just some nice views. So it's been a gorgeous morning. I mean, it started off a little chilly. First time my fingers been real cold in a long time. But once you get hiking, especially hiking uphill, you heat up fast. I never even thought about putting on my fleece, because as soon as you do that, you overheat. I can tell the 0 day really helped out. It I hit the trail strong and fast. I just felt good, because the last few days I was just feeling worn out. I was still doing 22 to 26 miles a day, but it was work. I was my foot were hurting, and just mentally, I was kind of getting in a bad mood sometimes, dealing with all the blowdowns and that, and I could tell I needed the rest. So there wasn't much going on at Shelter Cove. It's this little fishing place. People were very nice, and a bunch of hikers, talking a bunch of southbounders. So it was good just to chill out for a day, rest and recuperate, and at least first couple hours here, I'm hitting the trail strong. It'll be interesting to see how my foot and my knee do end of the day. If the rest was the answer or something else is going on. So we'll keep tabs on that. We'll see you down the trail. Yeah, there's the trail, and here's Middle Rosary Lake. Just as beautiful as Lower. I think this is the smallest one of the 3, but it's a good sized lake. We'll hike up and see what the upper one looks like. It's nice. It's having a beautiful trail, hiking along the entire length of each of the 3 lakes. This is what hiking the trail is all about. And finally upper Rosary Lake. So I just looked at the map and I was wrong. Lower is the biggest, then middle, then upper. So you get progressively smaller, but they're all beautiful. The trail just goes, you know, right along the side of each one of them. Okay, just about at the top. It's a good viewpoint. You can see upper, middle, and lower Rosary Lakes that we just hiked by. And you can see the haze in the distance. So yeah, smoke's still out there. As I go up, I think I'm above it now. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting used to it, but I don't really smell it now. And I've been climbing for the last 7 miles. So maybe I've gotten up above the real smoky layer. I'm just about at the top of the hill or the ridge line, and then we'll see what it looks like going back down. Okay, so I'm about a quarter mile from the top, and I was gonna wait till the top to stop, take a break, and have a snack. But this is so beautiful here, and there's a nice little log. Looks like a little camp spot here, and you know, just nice little log overlooking the lakes down there. I decided to stop early a little bit. Yeah, I was just looking. I've done 7.8 or 7.9 miles. It's 9 o'clock. So that's like 2.5 hours. I've been motoring up here. It's like a 3 mile an hour clip. A little bit better than that, maybe 3.1, 3.2. It's been uphill just about the whole way. I've climbed 1,800 feet since Shelter Cove, where normally I'm slow going uphill. If anyone's hiked with me, I'm not the fastest going uphill, and you know, I make up for it. I can go downhill fast, but uphill I'm huffing and puffing. But I think a lot of that's just taking the 0 day, having very fresh legs, and then the other is because it's so chilly. I see everyone else. I see a lot of southbounders. They're heading downhill, and they're wearing their puffy jackets and beanies. A couple of them had gloves on, and I'm just hiking in my sun hoodie. I learned early on in the Sierras, you know, there's a saying on the trail, be bold, start cold, you know, especially if you're going uphill, because you heat up fast when you're hiking. So I embrace that. But, you know, when you're hiking and it's 40 degrees outside, you got to move fast to heat up. This, so far, is just starting out to be a great day. All right, we'll see you down the trail. Here's the Madden Peak Shelter. This is one of the nicest shelters from out here. Looks like they got solar power for lights. Yeah. You got glass windows. A lot of firewood. Broom and an axe. Either cut the firewood or become an axe murderer, one of the two. Here it is inside. So you have some benches, a little table, a little desk and chairs, some more benches, and of course the mandatory wood stove. So these things are maintained by a local Nordic ski club. Looks like a little snake skin right there. I wonder what kind of snake that is. For use as a shelter in the winter, they leave it open for hikers in the summer. A lot of hikers, they come in here and, you know, spend the night in the shelter. I don't really have any design of spend the night in the shelter. Oh, there's a loft up here too. So in the loft, and there's more sleeping up there. Let's just check it out here. Oh yeah, look at that. There's some kind of lockers with supplies. And big loft area. You could fit 10 people up here. Easy. Plus whatever you can fit downstairs. I don't have designs of sleeping in one of these shelters. Yeah, the tent's nice. It's nice outside. You know, if it were raining or, you know, obviously snow, it'd be nice to make a fire, but PCT hikers don't really do fires because they're hiking all day. I mean, from the time you hit camp, you know, just about all PCT hikers are in their tent and sleeping bag, you know, within an hour or two. You know, and they got to set up camp, you know, sometimes go and get water and filter it, you know, cook dinner, eat it. You know, you'll chat for a few minutes, but then you're jumping in your tent, you know, doing research for the next day, and that's, you know, you got to make your miles, or else you're not going to finish. Yeah, I spent a lot of time just hanging out. Plus, I think this is like the fourth shelter I think I've seen. This is probably one of the nicer ones. I think pretty much just from the comments, all these shelters have a, you know, resident mouse or two hanging out, you know, enjoying the shelter. So you gotta, you know, protect your food, hang your food and that, and you'll hear the mouse during the night. I just rather sleep in my tent. But these are beautiful shelters, and it's nice that the ski club leaves them open during the summer for hikers. So greatly appreciated. A lot of times people will come here for lunch, and, you know, if it's really hot outside or trying to get a break from the bugs, it's not lunchtime yet, and it's still nice and cool. So I'm going to keep moving. But it was nice seeing the shelter. So thank you, Ski Club. Thanks for leaving it open for us hikers. Appreciate it. It's just past 11 o'clock. I've done 12.5 miles. Gonna take an early lunch. Might be a 2-lunch day. I grabbed some extra tortillas and some extra peanut butter and Nutella at Shelter Cove. So I think 3 days I can do double lunches if I want. I just had a grand revelation since I passed the shelter. This goes back a little bit, but, you know, so back in Ashland, stay in the Columbia Hotel. You know, it's a 4-person bunk room, and you know, when I checked in, luckily I got a bottom bunk. I was the second one in there, talking to another guy. I forget his name, but he was like my age. He's from Europe. Real friendly guy. He was zeroing there that day. You know, we got talking that. Then you know, a third person came in later. Seemed nice enough, but I didn't see much of him. And a fourth person came in, like, I don't know, when I was on the way out to dinner, like around 5 o'clock. He comes in, and he's kind of he threw me out because he comes in and he goes, "Hey man, I'm Necktie. How you doing? How's the trail treating you?" And he's standing there in this bicycling leotard or unitard, and it's like, what the heck? And he's like super friendly and jovial, and he's kind of like throwing me off, and it's like, you know, I go, yeah, hey, I'm Night Owl. You know, trail's treating me great. How you doing? And that, and so, you know, he apparently I you know, find out that was a PCT hiker, and he you know, when the park fire hit and everyone was jumping ahead, he somehow got a bike and equipment, and he decided to bicycle around the park fire, and he biked from, I think, like Quincy on up to Ashland. So I thought that was cool, and I, you know, didn't think much of it. I kind of wanted to talk to him, but I went out to dinner, and then when I got back, he was gone with some friends. Our paths never crossed. He didn't get in the room, you know, till like close to midnight, and I was already in bed. And then, you know, I go to that Madden shelter, and, you know, after I do a little video, I sign the logbook. I'm looking through, and I see, you know, he made an entry in there, I think a day or two ago, you know, saying Necktie, and he says, you know, great to be back on the trail after being in the saddle so long. So I go, okay, well, it's cool. You know, he's back on the trail. And then, you know, as I'm hiking between the shelter and here for lunch, it dawns on me. It finally hits me. It goes, that's Necktie. We started the same day together. Yeah, we hiked for a few miles, the last few miles of the first day. We camped in the same general area. He camped down, you know, just on the other side of the creek than I did. But then, like, the next day, we had lunch together at the Lake Marina Grill and hung out probably for a couple hours, you know, chatting and hanging out. And then our paths would cross. He joined a trail family early on, but you know, our paths kept crossing because I'd hike a little faster, but then I'd do a 0 day, go home and do a 0, and then a few days later I'd catch up to his trail family, and our paths were crossed. So I saw him all the time during the desert. Yeah, I'm not good with names and faces, but I can't believe I didn't recognize this guy, because he looked pretty much the same, and he immediately recognized me. You know, after the fact, now I know why he was so jovial and friendly, because he recognized me, even though I'm like probably 20 pounds lighter, and I got this big old beard now that I didn't have at the beginning of the trail. He knew me, and so now I feel bad. So he's like a day or two ahead of me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch up to him or not. If our paths cross again, I'm going to have to, you know, talk with him and apologize for not recognizing him. Now I'm feeling bad that I'm so bad with names and faces. It's hard to keep track. You meet so many people on the trail. It's hard to keep track of everyone. But, you know, with Necktie, you know, I had I made a connection. We hiked, you know, we hiked together for, you know, several miles, and I had, you know, had lunch together, and, you know, we knew each other, you know, for the first couple 100 miles on the trail. So I really feel bad about that. I have to apologize if our paths do cross again. Man, when the light bulb went off and I had that revelation, it's like, I can't believe I didn't recognize him. Especially, he was so friendly. He goes, "Hey man, how you doing? How's the trail treating you?" And it's like, you know, I don't know. I think it was that unitard threw me off. The first 20 miles today was just beautiful trail. I mean, just nice soft dirt. There was one blowdown in the first 20 miles. And nice cool temperature, even going uphill. Just only got a couple spots of sun. But after this last lake, I think Carlton Lake or something like that, at mile 20, got into a burn zone. So we'll see how long this goes. It's probably been a mile and a half, maybe 2. Blowdowns aren't too bad though. I think since I left the lake, it's been maybe, I don't know, 6 blowdowns in a burn zone. So that's not bad. We'll see how long this goes. But luckily it's kind of cool and there's a good breeze, because there's a lot of exposure here. I only brought about 1.25 liters of water because first 20 miles I was just cruising. Not drinking very much water because it's nice and cool and shade and easy trail. So, but I got 2 options. I can go 5.5 miles or I can go 8 miles. So we'll see what this looks like, and I'll make my decision at the 5.5 mile point. All right, see you down the trail. Still in the burn zone, but check out this hillside. I mean, that's just obliterated. Hardly anything standing, nothing growing. So I'm guessing this burned like 1 to 2 years ago. And that's just like a moonscape. But the blowdowns have been cleared, so I'm a happy camper. Burn zone goes for miles. It's strange, along this hillside, all the trees are down. And then you get over to that corner, they're all still standing. They're all dead. They're all burned, or maybe the heat just killed them. But they're still standing, so not sure, maybe the fire must have been hotter in this area and just burned them to a crisp, and they fell down, and not so hot on that edge. I don't know. pretty interesting. But yeah, I think I'm about 2 miles in right now, and at least off in that direction, as far as the eye can see, it's burned. The trail's going over here to the left a little bit, but yeah, I still got a little ridge to cross over. But yeah, everything's just scorched. This must have burned last year, because there's nothing except, you know, a few pieces of grass growing. No other vegetation. Usually you see some small bushes, some manzanita, but this is scorched earth right here. Yeah, I'm just glad it's a relatively cool day and there's a nice breeze. This could be a hot stretch, baking in the sun. All right, we'll see you down the trail. I just can't get over how, I mean, this is just annihilation, total annihilation. There is nothing standing. I mean, you just don't have to worry about blowdowns because everything just burned. I mean, there's some stumps, pieces of wood, but normally, you know, burn zone, there's still all kinds of trees standing and they're falling over, branches are falling down. This is just, I mean, look at this rock. Imagine what the heat intensity was to like just beat this rock up. Look right there, you got like one tree standing. And luckily it's windy. I mean, not blowing up the dust and ash too much. Now, if a Sobo was wearing a mask, that's probably a good idea. Without this wind, I mean, if you had a hot day, hot still day, trying to do 5 or 6 miles through this scorched earth, you'd just be frying out here with no protection. That's the first flower I've seen in 3 miles. Something else besides the tufted grass. Okay, well, we'll keep going. See you down the trail. Just me and my shadow. Walking through the birds. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. I don't know if this comes out, but we're coming to the end of the burn zone right here, and you can see, I mean, this is all the scorched earth here, but you can see up ahead there's a band of trees that are dead, not necessarily burned, but just the extreme heat killed them for maybe, I don't know, several hundred feet, and then beyond that is your live forest again. So really cool how just the super intense heat just burned everything in sight, and then, you know, kind of around the whole perimeter there's a band of dead trees that didn't catch fire, but the heat killed them. And this is just awesome, but kind of looking forward to getting back into regular forest here. All right, see you down the trail. I'm a more typical burn zone here where, I mean, everything burned, everything's dead, but trees are still standing. The heat intensity wasn't that bad, and eventually went out. But look over here. It's a little pond and a lake, or a series of ponds. So got a little bit of growth right in the middle of this complete destruction. Water is life. End of day 121. Today, I was moving today. Yeah, I didn't get out of Shelter Cove till about 6:30, but I felt good all day long. I started off strong and just, you know, kept going. Temperature was real good. It was actually cold in the morning. It was cool all day long. The trail was just, for the first 20 miles, the trail was just fantastic. There was one blowdown in 20 miles. So bravo to the whoever maintains these trails. And it was just easy cruising. It was a nice dirt trail, no rocks, no obstacles. There was a lot of climbing. I did about 4,000 feet of climb. Overall, I did, I think, 28 miles. So that's got to be in the top, I don't know, definitely top 5, maybe top 3 or 4 miles per day. The trail was good all day long. It was just gorgeous scenery for the first 20 miles. Then after that, I think it's Carlton or Charlton Lake, we hit that massive burn zone that I've just not seen anything like that. It was just complete and total destruction. It was probably like 5.5 miles to that burn zone, and probably 4.5 were just, scorched earth. Nothing left except a few, there's now a few tufts of grass. So, it probably burned a year or 2 ago. But that was it was fascinating. Just, eerie, but fascinating walking through that stuff. And luckily it was, temperature was okay. It was actually pretty windy. Going through there in a hot sun, that would have been tough. Going, 4.5 miles or 5.5 miles with, no shade and just scorched earth. That could be a problem. But we got through that, got back in the forest and some lakes. I'm camping by I think it's Barama Lake. Nice little site. Right now I got it all to myself, and I think the main sites are down at the other side of the lake, or down at the end of the lake. So I've seen like 4 or 5 people go that way already. So I might just have this place to myself tonight. We'll see. Because there's not much room. I mean, someone could squeeze in another tent like right next to mine. But there's better sites down the trail. The last couple of nights, last night we got down to 38 degrees in August. Yeah, I'm glad I still got my my puffy jacket and my warm sleeping bag. But now I'm starting to rethink Washington. If it's like this in mid-August in Oregon, what's going to be like in Washington at the end of September? It's going to be like up in the Sierras. That's all right. That's all part of the trail experience, right? So, especially I'm trying to finish up by the end of September, hopefully before it starts snowing. I can handle the cold. Fresh snow, that could complicate things. So I'm going to try and keep hustling and finish up the trail by the end of September. We'll see what happens. Oh, my knee felt great. So that day off really helped. My right foot, I did start feeling that. Now, it didn't start bothering me until I was like over 20 miles in. So it went longer. So that's good. And it wasn't as bad, but I can start feeling it. So I don't know if it's just the total trail miles building up, or maybe it's these new shoes and they're cut a little bit differently. But I'm going to have to watch it. I'm not going to go another 38 days without a 0 day. I don't think I'm going to go to Cascade Locks for trail days, but I'll go there. I'll hike there probably another, 10 days, 11 days, something like that. So I'll probably take a 0 in Cascade Locks. So that'll be like a week and a half between 0 days. That's much better than 38. Okay, I guess that's about it. We'll see you tomorrow.